In this episode, I'm going to teach you how to become an industry thought leader through content marketing. If your dream clients are searching online right now and they're not finding you, you don't have a content problem, you have a positioning problem. I'm talking to coaches, consultants, fractional executives who have real expertise but feel invisible. You want more reach, more leads, more authority, and most importantly, you want to be the go-to name in your space. Let's simplify this. So what actually is a thought leader? A thought leader is someone with real expertise who is positioned everywhere that their dream clients are already looking. That's it. So it's not credentials, it's not accolades, it's category ownership. And let me make that real practical for you. When someone owns a category and you go and search for that topic on Google, YouTube, or ChatGPT, you keep seeing the same person. They show up again and again and again. And when that happens, you don't sit there analyzing it. You just think, wow, this person is everywhere. They must be the go-to person. And something shifts in your mind. It's no longer, can I trust this person? Now it's more like, I'd probably be lucky to work with this person. So that's what happens when someone sees you multiple times across different platforms. It builds credibility without you having to prove anything, without you having to convince them. And here's the part that's hard for people to accept. You could have all the expertise in the world, you could be incredible at what you do and really help people, but if people don't find you, they don't hire you. Now, on the flip side, if they see you everywhere, they actually want to talk to you. You're not chasing them, you're not trying to overcome objections. The resistance just isn't there in the same way. That's what positioning does for you. Now, when people look at others in their industry, who seems to dominate? It can feel like that these people that are currently at the top are untouchable, like there's no way that I could compete with that. But if you actually look a little bit closer, just behind the curtains, you start to realize something. There's a path to owning the category. It's not random, it's not luck. It's actually pretty straightforward once you see it. But most people aren't able to see it. They're being pulled in a bunch of different directions. They're told that they need to go viral, that they need to post every day on social media, they need to be constantly creating, and all of this keeps them busy, but it doesn't position them, and that's the key. You can have great branding, you can have amazing messaging and a really solid offer, but if you don't have the right positioning, your growth is going to be very limited. You're going to get referrals, through word of mouth here and there, but that doesn't really scale. It doesn't compound, and it doesn't make you the obvious choice. Positioning is the foundation, and without it, everything else just kind of underperforms. Most people think that marketing means posting on social media, but that only nurtures people who already know you, your followers, your connections, your Facebook friends. That's not marketing at all, because there's a big difference between marketing and nurturing. Nurturing is communicating with people who already know who you are. It's staying top of mind. It's building that relationship over time. So nurturing does matter. You need to do it. But marketing is something completely different. Marketing is getting in front of new people who've never heard of you before. People who are actively looking for help, they just have no idea that you exist. And most people say that they're doing social media marketing, but what they're really doing is nurturing. They're talking to the same audience over and over again. They're calling their efforts growth, but they're not. And there's really only 3 ways to market. You can go viral, you can pay to push your message out through ads, or you can show up in search. Now, think about that. Viral content is unpredictable, it's rare, and it doesn't generate leads. Paid ads, they interrupt people. They show up when someone isn't asking for you, so naturally they put their defenses up, and it builds low trust, right? Lower quality leads. But the third one, search, is different. When someone is searching, they're raising their hand, they're expressing a need, and they're actively looking for help. And when they find you in that moment, there's no resistance. They don't feel interrupted. They actually feel relieved. They see you as the solution. They trust you faster. And that's the part that most people are missing, because if your content isn't showing up in search, you're invisible to the people who need you most. The biggest thing I want you to take away from this video is that when people search online, if they're not finding you, you've got work to do. So here's what most people get wrong. They're creating content based on creativity. Whatever comes to their mind, whatever they feel like posting that day, and that actually takes a lot more effort. It takes more brain power, but it doesn't produce results. So what they're actually doing is guessing. They're hoping that something will go viral. They post something, they check it the next day and see how many views did it get. And if it gets more views than normal, they think that it's working and that it's successful, but they're not getting clients. They're not building authority. They're just chasing spikes of attention. That's what random looks like, but the path to the top isn't random. It's tactical. It's predictable. There's actually a roadmap. Most people just can't see it because it's covered up by all the noise. But if you clear that away, there's actually a very clear path to category ownership. That's what I like to show you and take you behind the scenes on this channel. It starts by understanding what your audience is actually searching for. So not guessing, but identify every question that your ideal client is asking in your space. And then you look at what already exists, what your competitors have created, and more importantly, what's missing? Where are the gaps? You can systematically fill those gaps. And you get to a point where you're not just participating in your category, but you take it over and you own that category. You're showing up at the top everywhere for every question in that space. This isn't theory. I know this works because I've done it again and again and again. We don't rely on any luck. We don't wait for something to hit, but instead we've mapped it out. And within a couple of months, you can see the shift. You're showing up at the top. You start getting discovered through search, and you're dominating your category. When it compounds, that's when positioning really starts working for you. Social media nurtures, search creates discovery. And if your content isn't searchable, then it disappears. And I really mean that literally. You'll post something on Facebook, maybe it does well, maybe it gets more views than normal, but that only happens the first day or the first week. A couple weeks later, it's barely getting any views. A month later, nothing. A year later, it's gone. So it's sitting in what I call a locked content vault. You created it, but now no one can find it. So what do most people do? They keep reinventing the wheel. They post something new and it gets attention, but then it starts to die off. So they make another post and that one gets attention, but then it starts to die off. So they make another one. So they keep repeating this cycle over and over again. I know we don't use VHS tapes anymore, but I picture it like this. I found this picture of a dumpster full of VHS tapes, videotapes that just sit there because no one sees it anymore. So of all the hundreds of videos you've posted in the past on social media that are not getting viewed today, that's what it looks like. Now compare that to search. When content doesn't disappear, it becomes evergreen. You publish it once and over time it actually gets more views because the platforms figure out what questions it answers, and as more people search for those questions, they find you. They find you on YouTube, they find you on Google, they find you on ChatGPT. So that's the difference. Your content doesn't die, it lives on and gets more and more valuable for you. Search will give you a spike, but then it dies. Search gives you a stream that continues to flow. Now, to be fair, people enjoy social media. There's a buzz to it. It feels active and it feels like you're doing something. And sometimes you might even get a win, but most people are there because they don't know that there's a better way. So this is where understanding YouTube will change everything for you. YouTube is the most powerful platform for this because everything you publish is indexed and searchable by topic, which just means this: if someone types in a question, YouTube's going to find the video that best answers that question. This is how it works. Try doing that on Facebook. You can't go in and search for anything by topic and consistently find the best content, but on YouTube you can. Same with Google, same with ChatGPT, and that's why your content can last for years if you create it searchable. It's not just a lifetime of a couple of days for that content or even weeks, but it's years and years. I've seen this consistently. Every client who commits to this starts getting search traffic. It's not luck, it's how the system works. Now, here's where it gets even more powerful. If you take that YouTube video and turn it into a blog post, you're gonna multiply the impact. So the same title, the same topic, embed the video at the top of your blog page, take the YouTube transcript and turn it into a written article underneath. You can have ChatGPT do that for you. So now your YouTube video isn't just ranking at the top of YouTube and on Google, but now your blog post will enhance that YouTube video and your blog will rank in Google search results too. Now, mentioning a blog, I want to be clear. If you compare a blog versus a YouTube video, we found that the YouTube video will perform about 50 times better. You'll get 50 times more views. But if you use them together, the blog can really enhance the results that you're going to get from just a YouTube video. Now let's talk about LinkedIn. If you're currently getting leads from LinkedIn, then keep doing what's working. But understand what it is. It's networking or it's outreach. It's not positioning. It's not putting you in front of people who are actively searching on Google, YouTube, and ChatGPT. You're still relying on effort and you're leaving opportunity on the table. So to explain my experience with YouTube, it used to be a lot more effective. There was a time when it showed real promise as a search-based platform because they had articles separate from posts. And those articles were starting to get indexed, but in 2024, they nixed that, and since then they've been moving more and more back to just a social platform like Facebook. So there's no social platform right now where you can post content that is indexed and searchable by topic. Now back to LinkedIn, even messaging has changed. I used to generate a lot of leads through simple outreach. Now I didn't pitch, I didn't push anything on them. I actually was just starting conversations, giving genuine compliments. It actually worked really, really well. People reached out and went to my website, they went to my YouTube channel. But now even that strategy doesn't work because there's so much spam on LinkedIn, there's so much noise. So if you want to try that approach on LinkedIn of just giving compliments, I'd say go for it, but you have to enjoy it. So if LinkedIn is working for you, keep doing it, but don't confuse it with positioning because you're not building discoverability at scale. Now this is going to sound crazy. Going viral is dangerous because what happens is you attract the wrong audience and it confuses the algorithm. And then the right people can't find you. I've had videos get millions of views but attract the wrong audience, and the algorithm wants me to make more content for them, but those people don't watch the content that I should be creating that attracts my right audience. So it becomes really hard to redirect. It's also confusing because you're going to hear a lot of people telling you to post every day, but that's a trap. It's not just focusing on the activity, you should focus on the results and the strategy. If your content isn't searchable, then you're building on a landfill. When you do this right, everything changes for you. You're no longer chasing leads, but they're finding you. You're no longer trying to prove credibility, it's understood. And I've taken someone from 1 million a year to 6 million a year and into opportunities that they've never had before, becoming the #1 go-to authority in their space by a massive margin, or going from struggling with leads to having more leads than they can handle just by following this approach. So the strategy I teach is called the leaf strategy. I'm not able to go deep into it here. This video is long enough, but understand this. If you follow the right framework, then in 3 to 6 months, you can dominate your category. 6 months if it's a massive category. Now, if you get this wrong, you'll stay invisible. You'll struggle to make ends meet, but if you get this right, you're going to be building a legacy. Your business is going to grow and you'll be able to make a bigger impact. If you want to learn exactly how to do this, go watch my next video called Achieve Category Dominance. That's where I can break everything down in this 5-step framework. You'll be able to find what your audience is searching for and create the right content that positions you as the authority in your space. I'll see you there.